So Kash Patel is now the director of the FBI.
Mm.
He, some are saying, fumbled the bag a bit. He prematurely said that they caught someone and they didn't, and there's a lot of confusion with Kash Patel.
Mm.
You have been in the FBI. You've been in the FBI for so long. How many directors did you go through at your time?
I think four.
Four. Okay.
Yeah.
So you started here and you made it, completely different. So what is your interpretation of, one, how Kash Patel has handled the Charlie Kirk situation, and two, just Kash Patel in general?
Okay. Well, I'll do that in reverse order.
Okay.
So, first of all, I knew you were going to ask about this, so I wanted to make sure I knew a little bit more about him because, there's not a whole lot about him.
Mm-hmm.
He actually, in terms of qualifications for the job, I've heard a lot of people say he has no qualifications at all. Well, actually, he has about the same qualifications as, maybe Louis Freeh.
Okay.
Because not only he's a lawyer,
Yeah.
didn't go to the best law school in the world, but he went to law school, he became a defense attorney for years, and then a state defense attorney, then a federal defense attorney, and he got some experience at least doing that, and then he got involved in some more heavy lifting stuff, and he was more, I think, in the political realm, and that's the only thing that I have a problem with, is that he appears to be operating more in the political realm than in the law enforcement realm, and or at least into the political realm when every director before him, after J. Edgar Hoover, because J. Edgar Hoover is an anomaly, and he was an actual criminal, and he should never have been allowed to do what he did, but he extorted a bunch of presidents and congressmen and senators, so that's how he stayed in power for all those years. But what he did do was create an agency that was very, very incredibly detailed and meticulous about the investigations they put together. When you get political, which seems to me that Kash Patel is very, very dialed into the political side, the problem is that you don't focus anymore on all the information from an investigation and keep it pure. You can get blinders on and only look in one direction, and that's a big mistake, a massive mistake. And so I hope that's not true. But in terms of the Charlie Kirk investigation, he probably spoke too soon and probably wanted to, and in fact, given what he actually ended up doing, which was saying, we caught him in 33 hours, which was an amazing thing. Well, no, this is a kid who had absolutely no experience, who did not know how to cover his tracks, who literally was on cameras all over the place, and used his own vehicle to get there and all that, and used his grandfather's rifle. I mean, there was no question that he was going to get caught in a number of hours, and he was. But he was caught. He may have been caught more because I said people around him know him, and they'll recognize this behavior before he talked about it, after he's going to brag about it. That may be more responsible than what the FBI did, which, there was a lot of local law enforcement involved and different jurisdictions and so on and so forth. But the fact is that the family turned him in. The family, because they recognized him, as I said they would, because he is not hiding himself. He doesn't know, he's not sophisticated enough to know how to do that.
Right.
So, it was a misstep. It's the kind of thing where he just hasn't been at the head of an agency, the Bureau, that is so massive and so complicated. He made a couple of statements before he became director where he said he was going to clean out FBI headquarters and put all those people back out into the field and make the FBI headquarters a museum. Well, obviously, he didn't do that.
Right.
Because he had no idea at the time what FBI headquarters was. Right. And the vast majority of people in FBI headquarters are administrators. Yes, there are agents who move their way up into administrative or leadership positions, but they run programs out in the field. It's a huge bureaucracy, but it has to be coordinated by somebody. You can't just have separate divisions all over the country and think it's all going to be running smoothly. So I believe now that he's in there, he's learning, and hopefully he cares enough to learn, and he does listen to the career people that are in there. But, it's unfortunate that he would make such irresponsible statements. Well, probably he had no idea that he was going to become director of the FBI in a short period of time when he made that statement. But he also made statements about the Epstein files, for example. And I know that's always a big question on people's minds.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, I think I know. I have no inside knowledge at all about that, but I can tell you almost with certainty that the reason why those files are not being released, and it is known to everyone in the FBI and everyone in Congress and everyone in the Senate, everyone knows that Epstein was likely giving national security information to the United States government. They classified the files, and that's why they're not being released. Yeah. Now, Patel wasn't smart enough or experienced enough to know that when he made that statement before. Now he looks like an idiot because he can't give out the files. He said, and this is why I believe what I'm saying, he said, we have released all the information that we are able to release. What does that mean?
Right.
They're not able to release the other information. Why? Is it because it's law enforcement sensitive? I doubt it. But is it classified? Yes. I think Epstein ran an extortion ring. I think he got people in compromising positions, people in power in the United States and in foreign powers, and he gave that information to the U.S. government to use against those foreign powers.
That is exactly what I've been thinking this entire time, and I'm not as expert in the field the way you are, but the man, I know how DC works, obviously, and I kept telling, this is much bigger than just Trump doesn't want this out or Kash Patel doesn't want, because Dan Bongino also as well, the deputy, chief, he was the same, like singing the same song about Epstein files, release them. He got there and it all shifted and it all changed, and that's when I went, wait a second, something doesn't add up here.
Right, and they're not allowed to say.
Yeah.
Okay, for example, let me give you another example exactly analogous to this. The person standing behind you was the Secretary of State, and something happened at an embassy, and it was a terrible tragedy.
Yes.
And everybody dragged her out in front of cameras and in the hearings, the Senate hearings. Yeah. Well, I can guarantee you that they had secret hearings before that where they actually discussed what went on.
Right.
And they knew damn well that she was not allowed to say what really happened because it's classified.
Right.
But they could force her to come out there and grill her and make her look like she didn't do what she was supposed to do.
Absolutely.
But they could only sing the classified cover story, right? And so are people think, oh, that's a conspiracy. No, it's not. This is how the government operates.
Right.
They have to have certain things that are secret so that they don't give away the people that are helping us, the mechanisms that are helping us, the information we have, the information we don't have. It's a dance. These intelligence agencies, and the FBI is not an intelligence agency, it's a counterintelligence agency, but so it tries to prevent foreign powers from doing that here, but certainly that means they know what foreign powers do.
Right.
And we use that information to help keep our borders safe, to help keep our people safe, to help keep our inventions safe, our military, all that stuff. But it's not some kind of conspiracy where they're trying to, hide evil, illegal stuff by the government. However, in this case, I do think it should be released. I do think they should declassify it. And I do think they should call out all the people who were being extorted by him because they're most likely in a position of power or were in a position of power. Look, as soon as I saw that Epstein, when the FBI had something like a 60-page, I think there were 60 victims, 65-page affidavit supporting the arrest of Jeffrey Epstein. And a short period later, the district attorney in Florida that had the case drove like, I don't know, 135 miles or an hour and a half, whatever he did, to a hotel to meet with Epstein's lawyers. Absolutely unprecedented.
Right.
No prosecutor will ever leave the confines of their office to go negotiate with the defense attorney. Why? Why step outside of your position of power? No, you bring them in. That's your power seat. But he did this. Why? Because he knew, he was told he had to make a deal. And he had to make a sweetheart deal for this guy because he was obviously providing information, and what he was doing, I absolutely believe was absolutely illegal, and absolutely they could have had an opportunity to stop him from molesting kids, and they didn't. And that kind of intelligence gathering to me is disgusting. It happens, and it shouldn't, and those people should be locked up and thrown in jail.
Absolutely.
And the people who enabled that to happen inside our government should be locked up and sent to jail. Because not only did they not give justice to those 60 victims, but they exposed so many more victims to it for years. For years because of that. And that pisses me off.
Absolutely. Do you believe we'll ever get the truth about Epstein? Or do you think it's just going to stay sealed?
Yeah, I think unless somebody gets into a lot of trouble and leaks it or something like that, no, they're going to keep it, maybe 75 years. Why? Why do they think that they need to protect the people of the United States of America from what happened in the Kennedy assassination? Why? Why is that file sealed and then slowly, dribs and drabs, 50 or 75 years later? Come on, give me a break.
Right.
Why are they timing out the release of that information? Because we can't handle it?
Right.
No, because it's obviously protecting somebody's reputation. And that's garbage. I don't think we need it, and I don't want it.
Yeah, absolutely.